Look, I need you to understand that it was supposed to be a compliment, a harmless observation, the kind of thing couples say to each other all the time when they're being open and honest about attraction. I wasn't hitting on her. I wasn't suggesting anything inappropriate. I was just being real with my husband, sharing a thought that crossed my mind, treating him like a partner I could be vulnerable with, instead of someone I had to filter myself around. But apparently, honesty isn't always appreciated. Apparently, some things are better left unsaid. Apparently, telling your husband that his best friend's wife is exactly your type is grounds for him to dismantle your entire sense of reality with one sarcastic question. "Oh, she's your type? That's interesting. Should we just move in with them then? Would that make things easier for you?" The way he said it, calm, cold, with this edge of contempt I'd never heard from him before, made my stomach drop. And suddenly, I wasn't the cool, progressive wife who could casually discuss attraction. I was the villain in a story I didn't even know I was writing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up. Let me tell you how one stupid comment at a dinner party destroyed my marriage in slow motion. Because that's what happened. One sentence, one observation, and everything fell apart. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit hype to boost this episode. Drop a comment below with your city or country. I'm always curious where viewers are joining from. We were at Ryan and Sophia's house for dinner. Ryan was Tyler's best friend since college. They were basically brothers. We did dinner with them at least twice a month, had keys to each other's houses, spent holidays together. They were family. Sophia was beautiful. Like, objectively, strikingly beautiful. Tall, dark hair, these intense green eyes that seemed to see right through you. She had this effortless elegance, the kind of woman who could wear jeans and a t-shirt and still look like she'd stepped out of a magazine. I'd always noticed it, obviously. You'd have to be blind not to notice Sophia. But I'd never thought much about it beyond the casual acknowledgement that my husband's best friend had a gorgeous wife. That night, though, something was different. Maybe it was the wine. Maybe it was the candlelight. Maybe it was the way Sophia laughed at something I said, leaning forward with genuine interest, her hand briefly touching my arm. Whatever it was, I felt a flutter, a spark, the kind of attraction I hadn't felt in a while, if I'm being honest. Tyler and I had been married for 7 years. We were solid, comfortable, secure. But comfortable had started to feel a lot like boring. We were in our early 30s, settled into careers and routines, and somewhere along the way, we'd stopped surprising each other. I loved Tyler. I really did. But I also couldn't help noticing that I felt more alive in that moment with Sophia's hand on my arm than I had in months of marriage. We'd met in our mid-20s at a mutual friend's birthday party. Tyler had been charming, funny, stable, everything I'd been looking for after a string of chaotic relationships. He was the kind of guy who called when he said he would, who showed up on time, who remembered important dates. After years of dating men who kept me guessing, Tyler's consistency felt like a relief. The first 2 years were great. We'd stay up all night talking, take spontaneous weekend trips, have sex constantly. He made me laugh. I made him think. We fit together in a way that felt easy and right. But somewhere around year 4, things shifted. We bought a house. We got serious about our careers. We settled into routines that felt safe, but also predictable. Date nights became monthly instead of weekly. Sex became scheduled instead of spontaneous. Conversations became about groceries and bills instead of dreams and desires. I kept telling myself this was normal. This was what mature relationships looked like. This was what happened when you built a life with someone. The passion faded, but the partnership remained. But I missed the passion. I missed feeling excited about coming home. I missed the butterflies in my stomach when Tyler looked at me. I missed feeling like anything could happen instead of knowing exactly what would happen every day for the rest of our lives. And lately, I'd been feeling it more acutely. This restlessness, this sense that I'd settled down too young, that I'd missed out on experiences I could never get back. I'd see my single friends posting about their adventures, their dates, their freedom to be whoever they wanted, and I'd feel this uncomfortable twist of envy. I wasn't unhappy, exactly, just not particularly happy either, just existing, going through the motions of a life I'd chosen but wasn't sure I still wanted. That's the state I was in when we went to Ryan and Sophia's for dinner. Restless, bored, looking for something, anything, to make me feel alive again. It was just a passing thought, a fleeting moment of attraction that I probably should have kept to myself. But we were driving home, and Tyler was going on about something Ryan had said about work, and I was only half listening because I was still thinking about Sophia's laugh, and it just came out. You know, I said, interrupting whatever he was saying, Sophia is really attractive. Tyler glanced at me, then back at the road. Yeah, she is. Ryan's a lucky guy. No, I mean, like, she's my type, if I had a type, women-wise. I saw his hands tighten on the steering wheel, just slightly, just enough to notice. Okay, he said carefully. That's random. Is it? I felt defensive suddenly, though I wasn't sure why. We're supposed to be honest with each other, right? You tell me when you find someone attractive. Even as I said it, I knew it was bullshit. Tyler didn't do that. He never commented on other women. He was almost aggressively respectful about not making me feel insecure or threatened. But I'd read articles online about how the healthiest relationships were built on complete honesty, about how partners should be able to share everything, including attractions to other people, without judgment or jealousy, about how modern marriages needed to move beyond outdated notions of possessiveness. I'd convinced myself that sharing my attraction to Sophia was evolved, progressive, the kind of thing secure couples did. Looking back, I can see how delusional that was. But in the moment, fueled by wine and some misguided idea about what honesty meant, I genuinely believed I was doing something good for our relationship. I really don't, he said, responding to my claim that he told me about attractions. Sure you do. You commented on that woman at the gym. I said she was strong. That's not the same as telling you she's my type. Well, maybe it should be the same, I said, warming to the topic now, doubling down instead of backing off like I should have. Maybe we should be more open about attraction. It's natural. It doesn't mean anything. It's just being honest. I could feel him pulling away from me emotionally, could sense his discomfort radiating across the car. But instead of recognizing that as a sign to stop, I kept going. Don't you think it's healthy to be able to talk about this stuff? I pressed. To acknowledge that we're both human and we notice other people. It doesn't mean we're going to act on it. It's just normalizing something that's already there. Tyler didn't respond. He just kept driving, jaw tight, eyes on the road. The silence stretched. I waited for him to agree, to validate my point, to engage with the conversation I was trying to have. When he didn't, I felt annoyed. Like he was being close-minded and traditional and refusing to evolve with me. Are you mad? I asked. No, he said, but his voice said otherwise. I'm just trying to figure out why you felt the need to tell me that my best friend's wife is your type. Because we're married, I said, like it was obvious. Because I should be able to tell you things without you getting weird about it. I'm not getting weird, he said quietly. I'm just wondering what you want me to do with that information. I didn't have a good answer for that, because what did I want him to do with it? Agree, validate my attraction, give me permission to... What exactly? I don't want you to do anything with it, I said. I was just sharing, making conversation. Right, he said. Conversation. We drove the rest of the way home in silence. I thought that was the end of it. A weird moment, slightly awkward, but nothing major. We'd moved past it like we moved past all our minor disagreements. But Tyler started acting strange. He was quieter than usual, more distant. He'd look at me sometimes like he was trying to figure something out, like I was a puzzle he couldn't quite solve. A week after the dinner party, Ryan texted Tyler about getting together again. Tyler showed me his phone. Ryan wants to know if we're free Saturday. Dinner at their place. Sounds good, I said. Does it? He gave me this look I couldn't read. You excited to see Sophia again? What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, he said. Just asking. But it wasn't nothing. The way he said it, the edge in his voice, it was clear he was still thinking about what I'd said, still processing, still bothered. Are you seriously upset about that comment? I asked. It was nothing. I was just being honest. So you've said, he replied, turning back to his phone. Multiple times now. Because you keep acting weird about it. I'm not acting weird, he said, but he wouldn't look at me. I'm just trying to understand what's happening here. My wife tells me she's attracted to my best friend's wife. Then she keeps defending it like it's something I'm supposed to be cool with. So yeah, I'm trying to process that. There's nothing to process. People can be attracted to other people. It doesn't mean anything. Then why did you tell me? He finally looked at me, and his eyes were harder than I'd ever seen them. If it doesn't mean anything, why mention it at all? I opened my mouth to answer, but couldn't. Because he had a point. Why had I mentioned it? What had I been hoping to accomplish? I don't know, I admitted. I thought we could be open about that stuff. About you wanting to fuck my best friend's wife? That's not what I said. Isn't it, though? He stood up, running his hands through his hair. You said she's your type. What else am I supposed to take from that? That I find her attractive. That's it. I find lots of people attractive. You find people attractive. It's normal. But I don't tell you about it, he said quietly. I don't come home from dinner with our closest friends and announce that I'm into someone's wife. Because that would be disrespectful to you, and to our marriage, and to them. I wasn't being disrespectful. You were, he said. You were being disrespectful to all of us. To me, to Ryan, to Sophia, to our friendship. You took something private, your attraction, and you made it my problem. You made it our problem. He grabbed his keys and wallet. Where are you going? Out, he said. I need air. Saturday came. Tyler was still being cold, but he agreed to go to Ryan and Sophia's. I thought maybe being around them in a normal context would help, would show him there was nothing weird going on, that it really had just been a throwaway comment. I was wrong. The whole night, Tyler watched me, not obviously, not in a way anyone else would notice, but I felt his eyes on me every time I talked to Sophia, every time I laughed at something she said, every time we interacted in any way. It made me self-conscious. I found myself overcompensating, talking to Ryan more, positioning myself away from Sophia, trying to prove that I wasn't attracted to her, that Tyler's suspicions were unfounded, but that just made it weirder. Because why would I need to prove anything if there was nothing to prove? Sophia noticed. Halfway through dinner, she caught my eye with a concerned look. You okay? She mouthed. I nodded, forced a smile. But I wasn't okay, because I was sitting at my friend's table, with my husband radiating tension beside me, all because I'd been stupid enough to voice a thought I should have kept to myself. On the drive home, Tyler was silent until we were almost to our street. Then he said, almost conversationally, So, I waited. Do you want to pursue this? Pursue what? Your attraction to Sophia, he said, like he was asking if I wanted Chinese food for dinner. Do you want to do something about it? What? No. Tyler, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to understand your endgame here, he said, pulling into our driveway. You tell me you're attracted to her. You keep bringing it up. You act weird around her. So I'm asking, what's the goal? What are you hoping happens? Nothing is hoping to happen. I don't have an endgame. It was just a comment. Right, he said, turning off the car. Just a comment. that you felt compelled to make, about wanting my best friend's wife. I never said I wanted her. You said she's your type, he countered. What's the difference? The difference is wanting someone is active, finding someone attractive is passive. One is about intent and the other is just observation. Fine, he said. You observed that you find Sophia attractive. Noted, logged, filed away. Now what? Now nothing. We move on. We forget about it. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. Yeah, okay. I'll just forget that my wife wants to fuck my best friend's wife. Easy. Stop saying it like that. How should I say it? He turned to face me fully. Give me the right words. Help me understand how I'm supposed to frame this in a way that makes it okay. I couldn't, because there were no right words, because I'd fucked up, and I didn't know how to unfuck it. I'm sorry, I said quietly. I shouldn't have said anything. I was stupid. Can we please just move past this? Maybe, he said, getting out of the car. But first I need to know, is this a pattern? Have there been other people you've been attracted to that you just haven't mentioned? Or is Sophia special? There's no pattern. Tyler, you're making this into something it's not. Oh, she's your type, he said, and his voice had changed. Gone was the anger, replaced by something worse, something cold and cutting and designed to hurt. That's interesting. Should we just move in with them then? Would that make things easier for you? You could be close to her all the time, really explore your type. The sarcasm in his voice cut deeper than any yelling could have. You're being cruel, I whispered. I'm being honest, he said, throwing my words back at me. Isn't that what we're supposed to be? Honest, open, sharing all our attractions, no matter how inappropriate. That's not fair. None of this is fair, he said, walking toward the house. But you started it. You opened this door. Now we both have to deal with what came through. Things got worse after that. Tyler started making comments, little jabs disguised as jokes, suggesting we have Ryan and Sophia over more often, since you're such fans, asking if I wanted to join Sophia's book club, or yoga class, or any other activity that would put us in proximity. It was death by 1,000 cuts, each comment small enough to seem like I was overreacting if I called him on it, but together they formed a pattern of cruelty that was slowly destroying me. At dinner one night, I mentioned that Sophia had texted me about a work recommendation. Tyler looked up from his plate with exaggerated interest. Sophia texted you? How nice. What did she say? Just asking about a vendor recommendation. Did you reply right away? He interrupted. Or did you make her wait so you wouldn't seem too eager? Tyler, I'm just curious about the dynamics here, he said, his voice light but his eyes hard. How does one conduct a one-sided crush via text? What's the etiquette? It's not a crush. Right, sorry. An attraction, an appreciation, a type recognition. He took a bite of food. What's the appropriate response time for someone who's your type, but you're not crushing on? I threw my napkin on the table. You're being an asshole. I'm being observant, he corrected. There's a difference. Another time, we were watching TV and a lesbian couple came on screen. Tyler turned to me with this pointed look. Is she your type too? He asked, gesturing at one of the actresses. Or is it specifically Sophia? Do I need to worry about all women with dark hair, or just the ones married to my friends? Can you stop? I pleaded. Stop what? I'm just trying to understand your preferences. Seems important that I know these things. What if we run into someone else who's your type? I should be prepared. It went on like this for weeks. Every interaction was laced with sarcasm. Every conversation was a minefield. I couldn't mention Sophia without him making a comment. I couldn't suggest hanging out with them without him questioning my motives. One night, I made the mistake of liking one of Sophia's Instagram posts. Just a normal double tap, something I'd done hundreds of times before without thinking about it. Tyler noticed. Keeping tabs on your type, I see, he said, not even looking up from his phone. What? Instagram. You liked Sophia's post, the one from the beach. She does look good in a bikini, I'll give you that. Very much your type, I assume. I felt my face burn. Are you seriously monitoring my Instagram activity now? I'm not monitoring anything, he said calmly. It just popped up in my feed, and I thought it was interesting, relevant to our ongoing situation. There is no situation. Right, my mistake. You're just platonically attracted to my best friend's wife. Nothing to worry about. I tried apologizing again, tried explaining that I never meant anything by the original comment, but he'd just look at me with this tired expression and say something like, I know you didn't mean it. That's almost worse. You were so thoughtless about my feelings that you didn't even consider how it would land. 2 weeks after the dinner party, Ryan called Tyler to suggest a weekend trip. The four of us, some cabin upstate, a couple's retreat kind of thing they'd been talking about doing for years. Tyler came into the living room where I was reading. Ryan wants to do that cabin weekend, he said. You know, the one we've been planning. 2 couples, 1 cabin. Should be cozy. I looked up from my book, wary. Okay? I told him we'd love to, Tyler continued, his voice light but his eyes hard. I mean, you must be excited. Whole weekend with Sophia, your type, sharing close quarters. Maybe you two can go for hikes together, bond, really get to know each other. Tyler, stop. Stop what? He sat down across from me. I'm just being supportive of your attractions, making sure you get quality time with the people you're interested in. Isn't that what a good husband does? A good husband doesn't torture his wife for one stupid comment. One stupid comment? He leaned forward. Is that what we're calling it? Because it feels like more than that. It feels like you told me something important, and now you're trying to minimize it because you don't like my reaction. I am minimizing it because you're blowing it out of proportion. Am I? Let me ask you something. His voice went quiet, dangerous. If I came home tomorrow and told you that Sophia was my type, how would you feel? I hesitated. I don't know. Fine, probably. Liar, he said simply. You'd be pissed. You'd wonder why I was telling you. You'd question whether something was going on. You'd feel disrespected and insecure and probably a little betrayed. He was right. I would feel all of those things. But admitting that meant admitting I'd been wrong, and I wasn't ready to do that. It's different, I tried weakly. How? Because you're making this bigger than it needs to be. You're turning it into this thing when it was just... Just what? He interrupted. Just a passing thought you couldn't keep to yourself? Just a little attraction you felt entitled to share? Just another way of telling me I'm not enough? That's not what I was saying. Then what were you saying? He stood up, his voice rising. Explain it to me. Make me understand why my wife needed to tell me she's attracted to the one woman in our social circle we spend the most time with. The woman married to my best friend. The woman who's now going to be in our lives forever because we're all friends. Make that make sense. I couldn't. Because it didn't make sense. It never had. I'd said something thoughtless, and now I was paying for it in ways I'd never anticipated. I'm sorry, I said again, tears starting. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said anything. No, he agreed. You shouldn't have. He walked out of the room, leaving me sitting there wondering how one sentence had detonated my entire marriage. We didn't go on the cabin trip. Tyler told Ryan we had a conflict, some vague excuse about work that Ryan probably saw right through. Our friendship with them became strained. Tyler stopped initiating hangouts. When Ryan reached out, Tyler would make excuses or suggest just the two of them getting together, leaving me out. I tried talking to Sophia once, texted her to grab coffee. She agreed, but it was awkward. We made small talk about work and weather, and I could tell she knew something was off but was too polite to ask. As we were leaving, she touched my arm, that same casual touch that had sparked this whole disaster, and said, "Is everything okay? With you and Tyler? Ryan says he's been weird lately." "We're fine," I lied. "Just busy." She didn't look convinced. "Okay, but if you ever need to talk, I nodded, thanked her, left, and spent the drive home crying because even our friendship was now tainted by my stupidity. Tyler and I started sleeping in separate rooms, not officially, not with any discussion about it. He just started staying up later and later, falling asleep on the couch until it became his default sleeping spot. I asked him once if he was ever coming back to our bed. "I don't know," he said. "I'm still trying to figure out if I want to share it with someone who fantasizes about other women." "I don't fantasize. Don't you?" He looked at me. "Be honest. Since you told me about Sophia, have you thought about her? Have you imagined anything?" The truthful answer was yes, not because I actually wanted anything to happen, but because he'd made such a big deal about it that now I couldn't not think about it. He'd planted the idea so firmly in my head that it had taken root, growing into something it never would have been if he'd just let it go. But I couldn't tell him that, so I lied. "No." "Another lie," he said tiredly. "You're getting good at those." 3 months after the dinner party, Tyler asked for a separation. Not a divorce. Not yet. Just space. Time to think. Time to figure out if we could come back from this. "From what?" I demanded. "From me making one comment? From me being honest? From me having a passing attraction that I never would have acted on?" "From you not understanding why it was a problem," he said. "From you minimizing my feelings. From you refusing to take responsibility for how your words affected me. I've apologized 100 times." "But you don't mean it," he said. "You apologize, but then you turn around and act like I'm the one being unreasonable, like I'm overreacting, like I'm supposed to just get over my wife telling me she wants someone else. I never said I wanted her." "You didn't have to," he said. "The fact that you thought about her enough to mention it, that you felt entitled to share that with me, that you've spent 3 months defending it instead of recognizing how fucked up it was, that tells me everything I need to know." He'd already packed a bag. He was staying with his brother. He'd be in touch about next steps. "Tyler, please." "I need to know something," he interrupted. If I had just laughed it off that night, if I had said, "Cool, yeah, Sophia's hot," and moved on, would you have done something about it? Would you have pursued her? "No, of course not." "I don't believe you," he said quietly. "Because if you really had no intention of doing anything, you wouldn't have told me. You would have kept it to yourself like a million other passing thoughts. The fact that you said it out loud means some part of you wanted permission, wanted me to open a door, wanted something to happen." "That's not true, isn't it?" He picked up his bag. "Think about it. Really think about why you told me. And if you can come up with an answer that makes sense, call me. But until then, I need space from someone who doesn't respect our marriage enough to keep her attractions to herself." The door closed behind him, and I was alone. That was 4 months ago. Tyler still hasn't come home. We talk occasionally, brief conversations about logistics and bills, and whether we're going to file papers. He's seeing a therapist. He suggested I do the same. I did, eventually. My therapist asked me the same question Tyler had asked. Why did you tell him? And after weeks of circling the issue, of defending and minimizing and justifying, I finally got to something that felt like truth. I told him because I wanted a reaction. I wanted to see if he'd get jealous, if he'd fight for me, if he'd remind me why I chose him. I wanted to feel desired and important and worth getting territorial over. The admission came out during a session where my therapist had pushed harder than usual. "Let's try something," she'd said. "Imagine you never told Tyler about Sophia. You just kept that attraction to yourself. How would things be different?" "We'd still be married," I said immediately. "Okay, so knowing that telling him would likely damage your marriage, why did you tell him anyway?" "Because I thought we were supposed to be honest." "No," she interrupted gently. "That's the justification. I'm asking about the motivation underneath the justification. What did you hope would happen when you told him?" I sat with that for a long moment, really sat with it. tried to remember what I'd been feeling in that car ride home, what I'd been hoping for when the words came out of my mouth. I wanted him to care, I finally said. I wanted proof that he still wanted me, that he'd fight for me if he thought someone else might want me too. So you were testing him? The word hit me like a slap. I guess? Not consciously, but maybe. And when he didn't respond the way you wanted, when he got hurt instead of jealous, how did that make you feel? Angry, I admitted, like he was overreacting, like he was failing the test. The test you didn't tell him he was taking. Yeah. She leaned back in her chair. Here's what I'm hearing. You were feeling insecure in your marriage. Instead of addressing that insecurity directly, you created a situation designed to provoke a specific response from Tyler. When he didn't give you that response, when he gave you an honest, human reaction of hurt, you blamed him for not playing along with a game he didn't know he was playing. Hearing it laid out like that made me feel sick, because she was right. That's exactly what I'd done. I didn't actually want Sophia. I wanted Tyler to want me enough to be threatened by the possibility of Sophia. It was a test, a fucked up, manipulative test that I didn't even consciously realize I was administering, and Tyler failed by not playing along. Or maybe he passed by refusing to participate. The thing about tests like this, my therapist continued, is that they're designed to fail, because if Tyler had gotten jealous and possessive, you would have felt validated but also probably resentful of his jealousy. And when he didn't get jealous, when he just got hurt, you felt abandoned. You set up a no-win scenario. So what should I have done? I asked. If I was feeling insecure, if I needed reassurance, what was the right move? Ask for it, she said simply. Say, I'm feeling disconnected from you and I need reassurance that you still desire me. Say, I miss the passion we used to have and I want to work on rekindling it. Say literally anything except, your best friend's wife is my type. It sounded so obvious when she said it, so simple. But in the moment, I'd been so caught up in this idea of radical honesty, of refusing to filter myself, that I'd completely bypassed the actual honest conversation I should have been having. Either way, I destroyed my marriage trying to make my husband prove he loved me. And now he's gone. I'm alone, and Sophia probably thinks I'm a creep. The friendship with Ryan and Sophia didn't survive either. They stopped inviting us to things after Tyler and I separated. Ryan probably put together what happened, or Tyler told him. Either way, we went from family to strangers in a matter of months, all because I couldn't keep one thought to myself, all because I needed to test boundaries instead of respecting them, all because I mistook honesty for permission to say whatever crossed my mind without considering the consequences. I ran into Sophia a few weeks ago at the grocery store. It was awkward, painful, brief. She asked how I was doing. I said fine. She said she'd heard about the separation, and she was sorry. Thanks, I said, because what else could I say? For what it's worth, she added as she started to walk away, whatever happened between you and Tyler, I hope you guys can work it out. You seemed really good together. I wanted to tell her the truth, that what happened was me being stupid, that I'd made a comment about her being attractive, and Tyler had spent 3 months torturing me over it before finally leaving. That she'd inadvertently been the catalyst for my marriage falling apart without doing anything wrong. But I couldn't. Because how do you explain that to someone? How do you say, sorry, I told my husband I was attracted to you, and he couldn't handle it, without sounding insane, so I just said, yeah, me too. She smiled sadly and left, and I stood in the cereal aisle, fighting back tears, hating myself for everything I'd lost. Tyler filed for divorce last week. No big dramatic moment, just papers in the mail and a brief email asking me to sign them. I called him. Can we talk about this, please? What's there to talk about? He asked, not unkindly. Just tired. Us. Our marriage. Whether this is really what you want. I've had 4 months to think about it, he said. I know what I want. I want a partner who respects me, who doesn't test me, who doesn't casually mention being attracted to my friends' spouses, and then act like I'm crazy for being bothered by it. I know I messed up. It's not just that you messed up, he interrupted. It's that you still don't really understand why it was wrong. You're sorry about the consequences, but you're not sorry about what you did. You still think I overreacted. He was right. Even after therapy, even after all this time, part of me still thought he'd blown things out of proportion. Part of me still believed that if he'd just been more secure, more progressive, more understanding, we could have moved past it. But that wasn't fair. And deep down, I knew it. I've been in therapy, I said, trying to find the right words. I've been working on understanding what happened, and I get it now. I was testing you. I wanted you to prove you still wanted me by getting jealous. And when you didn't react the way I wanted, I blamed you instead of taking responsibility. There was a long pause. Then, I appreciate that you're working on it. I really do. But it doesn't change what happened, or how long it took you to even see it. I know I should have seen it sooner. I should have understood immediately why you were hurt, instead of defending myself for months. Yeah, he agreed quietly. You should have. Can I ask you something? I ventured. If I had figured this out earlier, if I had apologized and meant it and really understood what I did, would we still be here? Would you still want a divorce? Another long pause. I could hear him breathing, thinking, weighing his answer. I don't know, he finally said. Maybe, maybe not. But the thing is, we're not in that hypothetical. We're in this reality, the one where you doubled down for months, where every conversation was a fight, where I had to watch you interact with Sophia and wonder if you were thinking about her, where I couldn't trust that you respected our marriage anymore. I do respect it. You didn't, he said, not cruelly, just factually. Maybe you do now. Maybe therapy helped you see that. But for months you didn't. And I can't unknow that. I can't unfeel what it felt like to have my wife tell me she was attracted to someone we see regularly, someone who's married to my best friend, and then spend months telling me I was the problem for being upset about it. His voice cracked slightly on the last few words, and I realized he was close to crying. Tyler never cried. In 7 years of marriage, I'd seen him cry maybe twice. I'm sorry, I said, meaning it this time in a way I hadn't before. I'm sorry for all of it, for what I said, for how I handled it, for not understanding what it meant to you. I appreciate that, he said, I really do. But it doesn't change anything. Trust is like glass. Once it's broken, you can glue it back together, but it's never the same. And I can't spend my life wondering, when you're going to casually mention being attracted to someone else. I can't live with that kind of uncertainty. So that's it. 7 years of marriage over one comment? No, he said quietly. 7 years of marriage over your refusal to understand why that one comment mattered. Over 3 months of defensiveness instead of accountability. Over fundamental incompatibility in how we view respect and boundaries and what we owe each other. He was right. He was right about all of it, but admitting that meant accepting that I'd destroyed something good through my own carelessness, and that was a hard pill to swallow. I'll sign the papers, I said. Thank you. Tyler? Yeah? For what it's worth. I never wanted her. I never wanted anyone but you. I don't know. I was bored and stupid, and I thought I was being progressive by being open about attraction, but I was really just being disrespectful. I know, he said, and he sounded sad. I know you didn't mean to hurt me, but you did, and we can't come back from that. The call ended. I signed the papers the next day. So here I am, divorced at 33 because I couldn't keep my mouth shut, because I treated my marriage like a space for complete unfiltered honesty, without considering that some thoughts are better left unspoken. People ask me what happened. I usually just say, we grew apart. It's easier than explaining that I destroyed my marriage by telling my husband I found his best friend's wife attractive. It sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud. One comment. One thoughtless, unnecessary comment. And everything fell apart. But it wasn't really about the comment, was it? It was about what the comment revealed, that I didn't fully respect my marriage, that I viewed my husband as someone who should validate my attractions rather than someone those attractions might hurt, that I prioritize being honest over being kind. I've learned a lot in therapy about boundaries, about the difference between honesty and cruelty, about how sometimes the kindest thing you can do is keep your thoughts to yourself. I've learned that marriage isn't about sharing everything. It's about sharing what needs to be shared and protecting your partner from what doesn't. I've learned that there's a difference between suppressing who you are and having basic discretion about what you voice. Mostly, I've learned that I took someone good for granted and lost him because I was selfish and thoughtless and convinced that my right to express myself trumped his right to feel secure in our relationship. And now he's gone. He's dating someone else. I saw on social media before I finally forced myself to unfollow him. She looks nice, normal, probably doesn't tell him about all her random attractions. Ryan and Sophia are still friends with him. I'm the one who got excised from the group, which makes sense. I'm the one who made everything weird. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd just kept that thought to myself. If I'd acknowledged my attraction to Sophia privately and moved on. If I'd never said anything at all. We'd probably still be married. Still be friends with Ryan and Sophia. Still have the life we'd built together. But I didn't keep it to myself. I said it out loud. I defended it. I minimized Tyler's hurt. I turned one thoughtless comment into a referendum on our entire relationship. And now I'm here, alone, divorced, living with the consequences of mistaking unfiltered honesty for intimacy. So yeah, I said his best friend's wife was my type, and he asked if I wanted to live with them too. I should have realized then that he wasn't asking. He was saying goodbye. Near the end, have you ever said something that you can't take back? Drop your city or country below.